October skies in Provo look to BYU basketball for a new hope. Pumpkins, Stranger Things, and hoops. Nick Emery has carved up a few teams in his BYU days, as has first-team All-WCC guard TJ Haas. The Lone Peak duo joined by returning sharpshooter Zach Sellius and big-time scorer Eli Bryant, all on display tonight during the Cougar Tipoff, live on BYUtv Sports. The return of BYU basketball, courtesy of the 2017 Cougar Tipoff, live from the Marriott Center, the annual blue and white game. We welcome you inside the Marriott Center alongside Jerem Jordan. I'm Spencer Linton. Great to have you with us wherever and however you're dialed in on BYUtv Sports as your host of BYU Sports Nation, and we are certainly grateful for our courtside seats tonight to take a good look at this BYU basketball team and what they bring to the table after what many feel was a disappointing season last year.
The biggest addition wasn't any player, it was a coach. Heath Schroyer is the associate head coach. He is back at BYU after a stint in the late 90s. He has injected energy and new schematic offense and defense to this team. I'm excited to see them for the first time tonight.
Let's take a look at what BYU basketball did a year ago. And again, 22 wins. Because of the way the season ended, Jerem, was looked upon as a disappointment, the departure of Eric Mika, but BYU did beat a #1 team for the first time in program history.
That was absolutely notable, but you're right. The way the season ended was terrible for BYU, and that fueled their offseason. A 31-point loss in Vegas in the West Coast Conference semifinals to St. Mary's, and then giving up 105 points in the NIT opener to UT Arlington fueled BYU's offseason. They feel like they are much better than then.
Now, while Eric Mika does leave the program, his high school buddies Nick Emery and TJ Haws are back. Emery, a guy who had a breakout freshman season for BYU basketball, but fell off the map a little bit offensively last year.
Nick Emery is now a junior, and you're right, his numbers dipped, everything but blocks and steals, but this year is more like his freshman year in that BYU has a better three-point and drive balance to be able to accommodate Emery's skill sets. I think that he gets up into the 15-plus point range this season. Could even be the leading scorer on this team, and he is definitely a leader.
37% three-point shooter last year, I should say. His teammate TJ Haws, a first-team All-West Coast Conference player as a freshman. and a guy that can absolutely take over a game.
And recently named one of 20 players on the Jerry West watch list for the top shooting guards in the country. 13 a game as a freshman, ran the point for a lot of the season. BYU has a dynamic backcourt. At any point can make a three. Got his knee scoped a couple of weeks ago, is feeling better, and can be a BYU on the outside as a sophomore now.
DJ Haas, you look at his stat line from a year ago, 13.1 points per game. Shot over 42% from the field, including over 40% from the three-point line. And a big reason why BYU is in the top half of the West Coast Conference preseason poll. The Cougars, not surprisingly, picked to finish third behind St. Mary's, who received 9 first-place votes. Gonzaga went to the national championship game last year and aren't even picked to win their conference the next season, which is crazy, right?
It's based on the known, and we were in Las Vegas for the West Coast Conference Basketball Media Days. We spoke to Randy Bennett, we spoke to Mark Few and Dave Rose and company. No shocker. The big shocker, though, is that St. Mary's got 9 votes, but BYU being picked to be third, that would be a good spot to be in. St. Mary's and BYU and Gonzaga are top 25 teams, and we're all season long last year.
The West Coast Conference hoping to break back into that 3-team NCAA tournament entrance category, and BYU, you would think, would be that third team if that is going to happen. Now, of note, as teams are being introduced in the blue and white scrimmage, including Yoli Childs throwing a t-shirt into the stands. Jeremy, there are no seniors on this basketball team, but only 1 freshman. Everybody lodged in that sophomore junior category.
It's a really odd lineup when you look at that, and that's become the norm for BYU to not have many seniors. In fact, BYU had 2 seniors last year, neither of which finished the season due to injury in Kyle Davis and LJ Rose, who, by the way, made the Salt Lake City Stars training camp roster in the NBA G League, formerly known as the D League. So now you have 8 newcomers, 7 returners on this team, and that's the way the rosters have been put together tonight. Basically, the blue team is your returning players, and the white team is the newcomers, with the exception of Braden Shaw. So new guys versus old guys.
Here is one of those new guys, Jashir Hardnett, a guy that BYU hasn't really had on the roster, maybe ever, in terms of his style of play. Rashawn Brodus was a little bit like that, but that's probably the closest thing BYU's ever had to the sophomore transfer from Chipola College in Marianna, Florida, Jashir Hardnett.
Jashir Hardnett is BYU's best on-ball defender, and that's what they've been missing. And that's the difference between even Brodus. And it's good because BYU has been burned by guys like Hardnett. He is a guy that can come off the bench for BYU and provide a spark, especially on the defensive end.
He's the type of guy that the New Mexicos and the UNLVs had in the Mountain West Conference days that would give BYU fits.
Don't
now
remind
the Cougars
me.
have him.
BYU will see that again Friday at New Mexico.
Dalton Nixon returns from his mission now in his sophomore season. He's one of 3 players on this BYU basketball team that have NCAA tournament experience returning. But it feels like it's been forever since Dalton was on the floor here in the Marriott Center.
It's been a long time, and that guy is a fresh face as well. Always good to have a 50% three-point shooter on your team. Zach Sellius, back from his mission, had some shoulder issues and pain. He has rehabbed it. He feels good. There's some days where it hurts him a little bit, but Zach Sellius is back, and he is a welcome addition on that guard line. I won't be surprised if Sellius starts at the 4 when BYU goes small. But he's not small, he's 6'7".
Yeah, a small 6'7" guard.
Yeah, and a 50% three-point shooter. Kajon Brown on the court now, junior college transfer. BYU got Hardnett and Kajon Brown because Heath Schroyer had a lot of connections. He was at North Carolina State last year. He's back at BYU. Lots of recruiting connections across the country, having been a head coach in 3 different spots and been in the JC world. So Brown and Hardnett additions because of Heath Schroyer.
Kajon Brown, 6'5", 200-pound junior, as Jaron mentioned, a transfer from Lee College, originally from Harvey, Louisiana. If you're just joining us, it is a matchup of, yes, the blue and white, but really of the returners and the newcomers in a way for tonight's Cougar tip-off.
And it's stacked. The blue team is the better team to me here, based on the experience, based on the numbers. But as we saw last year, there's something to play for if you're on the white team. You want to get some PT early in the season, so you have something to prove. So there's a hunger on that side. But BYU potentially in the backcourt could have Emery, Haas, Bryant, and Sellius with Childs. I really like that lineup.
All 5 of those guys are legitimate three-point options for BYU.
And that is the newest weirdest thing you're going to see tonight is that Yoli Child shoots threes. He barely shot them last year. He is a legitimate opportunity guy from three. He made his first 6 when he walked out onto the court. Eli Bryant, healthy, back. Of course, had knee problems, missed the NIT game. It happened in the West Coast Conference semifinal. He's feeling good enough to dance and come out here. Oh, look at this.
Okay. It's going to be that type of night for BYU basketball, and it should be. Have a good time. Show the fans what this team is capable of a little bit. Of course, Bryant, the Elon College transfer, he was the freshman of the year in his conference. Wasn't healthy really ever last year, except for the latter part of the season, and you saw what he was capable of in that game against Portland in the Child Center, rather, scoring 37 points. This is a team that could have 5, maybe 6 different guys lead the team in scoring in a game this year.
I'll be surprised if BYU doesn't have 4 guys average double digits. 5 is pretty crazy, and you're seeing Heath Troy immediately inject his coaching experience and life into this. He's a guy that has a ton of coaching experience, was at BYU from 97 to 2001. He is going to coach the blue team tonight. Quincy Lewis coaching the white team over here. So it's an interesting matchup. In our first look at this new team, the biggest thing about this team to me is that there's no nicknames about any group of people. There's no Lone Peak 3, it's a Lone Peak 2, and no one calls them that. It's a new era. Eric Mika's in Italy, had 20 and 9 in a game earlier this week. Less post-dominant, more motion-centric, call a play good defense, value possession for BYU. It's a new scheme. It's going to take a little while to inject, but I'm excited to see it tonight.
Huge emphasis to create mismatches on the perimeter offensively and to hunker down defensively and guard the three-point line, because that's where BYU has really struggled in the West Coast Conference games, is giving up not necessarily a good three-point shooting percentage, but other teams are just firing up a ton of shots, and by the sheer numbers, it has cost BYU. So here we go. Cougar tip-off underway. The white team wins it. Jashir Hardnett, the junior college transfer, controls, goes to Kajon Brown, rather. Now to Dalton Nixon, top of the key. And the first foul of the game was called on Dalton Nixon, an offensive foul. He was looking to give it back to Hardnett.
Nixon has gained some muscle, and he's looked really aggressive in the practices that we've watched. I'm excited to see him turn it on here tonight.
TJ Haws left wing to Eli Bryant. Bryant has Childs. Childs will swing back to Haas. Top of the key. Haas looking for a lane, nothing there, so he goes to Nick Emery. Emery now an entry pass to Yoli Childs. Childs fading away, and the first 2 points of the Cougar tip-off come from Yoli Childs, a guy who is looking to make a major jump offensively from his freshman to sophomore season.
BYU's best post player now that Eric Mika's gone. Childs also added 2 or 3 inches to his vertical in the offseason, which is pretty good when he was in the mid-30s to start with.
Foul whistled off the ball, down low. First team foul on the blue squad. And that will go against Elijah Bryant, who was bodying up in the post on the entry pass for the inbound play. Luke Worthington scores to equal things up at 2.
Terry Nashif was so good, the inbounds plays for BYU. So that's a new thing. Terry Nashif not on the coaching staff this season. New look for BYU on those, but they've traditionally been really good in those sets.
Yoli Childs goes to Nick Emery. Hardnett and Worthington teaming up on Emery. Someone's open, and Eli Bryant finds him. It's Yoli Childs off the glass. He'll shoot a free throw as well.
Tough matchup for Luke Worthington, but a good test off of his mission. Nice look at the inbound to Luke Worthington, who laid it in back from a mission in May. His last 15 or 20 pounds is looking good. And then on the other end, Yoli Childs back-to-back buckets on the inside for BYU. Last year, a lot of post presence, throw the ball into Eric Mika, cut around it. This year, you're seeing a lot more motion from the on the three-point line. Occasional dump into Yoli Childs, who misses the free throw.
Yoli Childs with all 4 points for the BYU Blue squad. Missed the free throw, as Jarom mentioned. And it's 4-2. You'll notice this is a running clock. Worthington nowhere to go inside. Goes out to the freshman, Rylan Bergerson, who drops in a three-pointer from about 3 feet behind the line.
You're 2.5 minutes into this.
Okay.
Yoli Childs!
Okay. TJ Haws finds Yoli Childs, and Childs 6, white team 5.
He can get upstairs, man. He does not need the elevator.
Kajon Brown Back to the right wing and Hardnett. Quick entry pass to Dalton Nixon with Celius on his back defending. Pass back out is deflected briefly. Now Hardnett off the high screen from Worthington. Jashir Hardnett with the left hand, slashing to the hole.
Nice slice around a pick and roll late in the shot clock. Well executed play by Jashir Hardnett, JC transfer.
Yoli Childs will swing to Celius, hand off to Emery. Now to Bryant, left wing. Skip past TJ Haws, but before that happens, another foul is whistled. Let's take another look at that three-pointer from Ryland Bergerson.
I like the confidence. He's the only freshman on this team. This is his first game under the lights, and then look at TJ Haws connect with Yoli Childs. We watched a few practices this summer, and Yoli Childs is friends with the rim.
He dunks
a lot.
Let's just
say that, yes.
He dunks a lot, and that is evident here early in the Cougar tip-off. Ball inbounded to Eli Bryant. Childs high-low to Zach Celius, who was matched up against Bergerson. Ball tipped away from Celius, and it remains blue basketball.
Now that's twice that Zach Celius has been posted up on the block, trying to take advantage of a perceived mismatch there, but we didn't see Zach Celius on the block a single time his freshman year. Known as the three-point shooter, it's a different look.
TJ Haas to inbound. Goes to Nick Emery. Right wing guarded by Nixon. Emery, hesitation, dribble drive, and he scores an easy two off the glass.
Blues getting to the rim, the highest percentage shot in basketball, and that's what BYU wants to do offensively. Get right to the rim or get an open three.
8-7, blue team by 1 with just over 15 minutes to play here in the first half. Emery going to be called for the blocking foul. Kajon Brown driving to the hole. And here's a look at Nick Emery's first two here in the Cougar tip-off.
Yeah, no help underneath. So an easy lane to the bucket for Emery, the junior.
Jashir Hardnett. Opts to go out top to Brown. Handed back off to the junior college transfer point guard. Hardnett bounces high post to Worthington. Brown coming hard off a screen, now back to Nixon. Worthington isolated on Childs, down low. Tip from Nixon, athletic but not able to put it back, and now numbers for the blue team. Celius flips it over to Eli Bryant. Nixon back down the floor, and it's 5-on-5 once again. Bryant to Celius. Celius passes up the entry to Yoli Childs, back to Bryant. Bryant will dribble to the left wing, hand out to Nick. Emery fires up a quick three, that's long, easy rebound for Brown.
First three-pointer attempted by the blue team.
Kajon Brown, one end to the other. He'll shoot 2 free throws.
Good attack by the White to try and get the ball inside. Kajon Brown, JC transfer, another look, bringing the ball up all the way. Nice hesitation dribble to get past Emery, and Childs meets him in the air, draws the foul. BYU being aggressive, going to the rim. Nice job by Brown to absorb the contact and nearly got it to go.
First free throw up and good from Brown. Evens the score at 8 apiece. The clock is stopped, and it will stop for every free throw attempted, but it will run for fouls not resulting in free throw attempts. TJ Haas to Celius. Yoli Childs with Worthington. Fadeaway jumper, free throw line area. That's hard. Good defense by Worthington, but a nice save by Celius. Back to Emery. Emery no look to Eli Bryant in the right corner. That's good for 3.
Look at this spacing. Look at the amount of shooters on the court for BYU. This could be a potential starting lineup for the Cougars. And you have 4 proven three-point shooters, and then Yoli Childs, a guy who can shoot it. We need to see it in game action. Didn't get a ton of opportunities last season.
Luke Worthington shuffled his feet with Yoli Childs defending in the post. And after the turnover, the blue team will take the ball back over, looking to build on this 2-point lead. Eli Bryant, after the nice vision of Nick Emery to find him open for 3 in the corner. And credit Zach Celius for saving that ball and giving the blue team another opportunity.
Who knew the weekend could shoot?
Yoli Childs back to the weekend, Eli Bryant. And another lob! This time from Bryant to Yoli Childs.
That's twice the penetration from the top of the key or to the right of the elbow, and then Yoli Childs floating. If Yoli Childs doesn't get open, that's a layup or a nice floater for that driver, so that's a new weapon for BYU as well.
The athleticism from Childs, such a weapon on that pick and roll. Dalton Nixon with Braden Shaw sealing Yoli Childs, and the foul is going to be whistled on Childs.
Now watch it. Shaw has to make a decision, and Nixon is just a step late, and he's probably not going to get up to that at the same level as Childs, so a nice play there. You are just a little late on the white team to react to that for Yoli Childs right there. But again, there's all kinds of opportunities. You got to stop that at the point of attack.
Dejan Brown left wing to Hardnett. Hardnett double team for the moment. We go to Nixon and back to Brown on the handoff. Brown dribbles to the right wing, skip past to Hardnett, slashing to the hole. Back rim no good, offensive rebound Shaw. The putback also no good, saved by Peyton Dastrup, who's into the game. Rough exchange right there, and it will result in blue basketball after all of that melee. Timeout, 13-9, blue team up on the white squad. A battle of the returners versus the newcomers here in the first half. We'll be back with more from the Marriott Center. You're watching the Cougar Tip-Off live on BYUtv Sports. Time for a flashback. Anytime BYU plays in Spokane, Washington over the last 3 years, generally it's been a good result. Doesn't anyone know it better than Jerem Jordan, who put his hair on the line for one of those wins?
Yeah, that was a smart move by me. BYU did it again, 3 years in a row. BYU beats Gonzaga. This time, Gonzaga #1, undefeated. This was the BYU football versus Miami version in basketball as Gonzaga went on to be the runner-up. Eric Mika's finest moment, by the way. 29 points, 11 rebounds.
Highlight of BYU's 2016-17 campaign. And here is the first look tonight at what's to come in 2017-18 at the Cougar Tip-Off. TJ Haws off the screen. Soft roll, won't drop down. Loose ball rebound falls into the hands of Jashir Hardnett. Hardnett behind the back dribble around Emery. What a move by Hardnett.
And that's one of the best defenders in the league in Nick Emery. That's what Jashir Hardnett can do off the dribble. It's quite the play.
Here is Emery. Just lob it up to Yoli Childs. That's three different times now. Childs already into double figures and scoring with 10 points.
How do you want to defend that if you're the white team? Because if you don't come up to Nick Emery, he's going to go in for a layup. And then you back, look at Dalton Nixon. He just has to watch. He had a great seat for that. Unfortunately, he had to pay for that seat in the form of a foul.
And the eyes of Emery helped sell that pass to Yoli Childs, who is now 0 for 2 from the free throw line.
When you have 3 alley-oops, who cares?
But does have the 10 points to lead all scorers. 15-11 blue team. Hardnett to Dalton Nixon. And Nixon told me the other night, look, I get dunked on a lot, but it's just a reality I face playing against Yoli Childs in practice.
Hey, true that, man. Ask the West Coast Conference later this year what that's like.
Peyton Dastrup on the right wing. Entry pass to Childs. Nixon defending once again. Childs backing Nixon down. Turns with the right hand, baby hook, and that gets a roll. Another three-point play opportunity for Yoli Childs.
Childs is a tough guard at 6'8", 225. Look how deep he gets into the paint. He's in the charge circle. Nice jump hook. Up and in. Dalton Nixon didn't feel like he was into his body that much. But Yoli Childs bringing it 6 for 7 from the field and 12 points. Looking to make his first free throw tonight.
Clock will stop at 10:47 here in the first 20 minutes of play. Childs drops in a free throw. He has 13 and will take a well-deserved break as Zach Sellius checks in and replaces him.
And keep in mind with this blue team, remember, come up, jack up a three. BYU's 1 for 2 from 3. Has hardly taken three. Made 1 on the blue side.
The pick and roll alley-oop to Yoli Childs that has been the signature play of this Cougar tip-off. Braden Shaw looking for some help. Finds it in Ryland Bergerson. Eli Bryant with some pesky defense. Shaw takes the pass back from Bergerson. Good idea, but a little too strong on the jump hook. And the blue team looking to expand their 7-point lead. Eli Bryant loves that Euro step move into the lane, and he scores it 20-11.
Excellent move right at the rim there. 8 for 12 now for the blue team, shooting 67% midway through this first half.
Hartnett to the right wing. Bergerson, a lone freshman. Three-pointer. Look at the backdoor pass from Braden Shaw. The vision to find Worthington open for the layup. Unselfish play by the white team.
Great vision by Bergerson. Could have gone up, probably drawn a foul, but he handed off for the layup.
Peyton Dastrup will dial up a three. That's no good. Rebounded by Hartnett. White team looking to push the ball. Joshua Hartnett. High screen from Shaw, who was never set. And tonight's officiating crew very quick to call those offensive fouls if the screens are not set in proper position. Another look at that replay with Bergerson finding Worthington.
Great pass from Braden Shaw. That's a center making that pass to a backdoor cutter. Well done.
Kajon Brown back in for the white team. Joshua Hartnett will take a short break. Zach Sellius with the ball. He's left open, and Zach Sellius is ready to shoot, Jack.
He's got to shoot that. He's wide open. 50% three-point shooter, 68 made threes as a freshman. Excellent shooter on the outside. Also, if you don't have a faux hawk, can you play in the BYU backcourt this year?
That's a valid question
I have. Emery, Sellius, Bryant. Another look at Zach Sellius, the pride of Bountiful High. Braden Shaw's way too far off of him. But if shot comes out too far, Sellius is probably taking him off the dribble. That is a mismatch on that side.
Zach Sellius, one of the top 10 three-point shooters in the entire country his freshman year. Went on a mission to Des Moines, Iowa. Now back off that mission and playing basketball for the Cougars. Did have surgery on his shoulder. There was some understandable concern about how that would affect him. But all signs would indicate that he's back to normal. And the shooting form looks really good.
Talking to the coaching staff, they say he's good. There are some days where it's a little more sore than others, and I jokingly asked, he's not on a shot count like a pitcher, is he? No. He's good to go. And he is a weapon for BYU on the outside.
Bergerson already has one three-point make. That one rims off. Rebounded by Eli Bryant. 10-point advantage for the blue team at 23-13 with 7:50 to play in the first half. Sellius fakes a quick three, hands off to Nick Emery, who will fire it up. That's just long.
And that felt like the quickest possession for the blue team tonight.
Worthington is trying to spin on Dastrup. Shot is blocked, but they're going to say Peyton got Worthington with the body, and Luke will go to the free throw line to shoot two.
Dastrup looks like a man who was pulled over for going 5 over right there. What? No.
Not sure about that one. I
thought that was a clean block.
That's a tough call against Peyton Dastrup. Luke Worthington's first free throw, up and good.
Worthington looks good. We talked to him in Vegas last week at the West Coast Conference Media Days. He told us he's shed 15 to 20 pounds. He's been playing good, solid defense, has improved in the interior offensively. Started, a bunch of games there. He used to be the get 2 fouls, bring Eric Mika guy in, but he's more than that
Which
guy now.
was a brilliant move by Dave Rose to compensate for the unforgiving officiating in the West Coast Conference. And McKay Cannon, the transfer from Weber State, is in and already wreaking some havoc defensively for the white team. Near steal. Emery goes behind the back to Bryant, and step to the baseline off the glass for 2.
Nick Emery, tremendous ability to find Elijah Bryant, vision, the fancy pass, getting the fans into it. Nice finish by Bryant.
Bergerson back out to Cannon, swung to Brown in the right corner. Worthington fakes the handoff on the right wing. Back to Bergerson, defended by Emery. Nowhere to go inside, good defense by Emery. Blue team looking for a solid stop here. 4 on the shot clock. Cannon strong on the layup. Worthington had a wide open putback and just missed it. Now the rebound to TJ Haws and the BYU Blue squad. Dastrup straight away, left corner to Eli Bryant, and now Bryant has knocked down 3-pointers in both corners.
Elijah Bryant, 2 of the 3 makes for the blue team. Great vision. BYU's being very patient offensively. You're seeing that the tempo is just a little bit slower than what we've seen the last several years.
2 scorers in double figures for the blue team. Bryant with 10, Childs with 13. Dalton Nixon answers back with some physical play in the post. I think a good no call right there. Nixon goes off the glass for 2. 28-17, blue team leading by 11. Bryant once again, Dastrup straight away. Swings to TJ Haas, left wing. Quick dribble on Bergerson, creates some space, step back 3-pointer, and TJ Haas is now in the scoring column with his first 3.
So Blue wasn't shooting many threes. They started 1 for 3, but they made 3 of their last 4.
Now 4 of 7 for the game. 5:36 to play in the first half. Bergerson with Nixon posted up on Emery. That is a mismatch. And a tough shot by Dalton Nixon, fading to the right baseline. He's got 4 quick points in a row.
Back-to-back buckets for Nixon, who's beefed up, as I mentioned. Apparently an option in the post. So we've seen a few, at a minimum, throwing the ball into a guy on the block will give you good spacing. But BYU's being aggressive on the attack with Nixon. Sellius even had a few looks. And of course, Yoli Childs. A moment ago, TJ Haas. The biggest difference between he and his brother Tyler, off the bounce. TJ Haas so good at that quick pull-up, hard to contain, gets into the lane, has assisted Yoli Childs a few times, and now he gets some from 3.
A note on TJ Haas. His high school teammate Frank Jackson, who is now in the NBA, was a one-and-done player at Duke, said that of all the players he ever played with growing up, TJ Haas was the best player that was ever his teammate. How about that?
How about that? And listen, he loses the pregame. Some teams look at him and go, oh, it's going to be a great night for us. And then they look at and see what TJ Haas does during the game, and it's different. It's different. TJ Haas also, what's the deal with the shoes, man? I talked to him before the game and I said, what's going on with these shoes, man? And he said, well, I haven't broken in my other ones. I got to do that, so I'm going to wear these tonight. And he's going short ankle socks. I'm not sure I'm a fan of the look, but this isn't going to be all season. That's the good news.
Hey, who cares? Making buckets doesn't matter what you have on your feet. 33-19, blue team up by 14, under 5 to play in the first half. Dejon Brown spinning and called for a travel in the lane.
When the spin is too good, it could be called the travel. You almost have to sneak the spin and the extra step.
That is not a travel in the NBA, ever. But it is still in college basketball.
And that would have been a continuation for TJ Haas if this was the NBA as well.
TJ Haas foul on his way to the bucket. Blue team in the bonus, so the clock will stop at 4:35, 1-1 to come.
TJ Haas is an interesting character in the BYU basketball story. Tremendous shooter, although he missed that free throw. Excellent off the bounce. Learned a lot in his freshman year. As I mentioned, got the knee scoped. He's going to be a big piece for BYU this year.
Bergerson, and another offensive foul call on the white team. That's the 3rd time the white side has been called for an offensive foul via that high screen.
Is that the emphasis going into the year or something? It felt like those would be 50-50s or no calls, and 3 of those.
Well, and the coaches have the luxury of telling officials to look for certain things and to be sensitive in certain areas.
Especially in this game.
Yes, absolutely.
They're beholden to kind of what BYU wants to get done as opposed to a league, an organization, conference.
TJ Haas, good decision in the lane, asking for a foul, not going to get it, but he scores 2 more. And the lead up to 16 for the blue team.
And how competitive is TJ if he's up 16 and he's begging for that foul in the intra-squad scrimmage in October? You know what I mean? He wants to win.
Bergerson being forced to his right. Bounces over to Nixon, swung over to Hartnett. Now Nixon straightaway, he can shoot that and will, and Dalton Nixon has 7 points after the straightaway three.
Nixon was a wide-eyed freshman before who had a few moments of brilliance. I think he can be a guy off the bench that can contribute for BYU. Has worked hard in the weight room and can shoot it.
Yoli Childs trying to answer back for 3. That's long. You saw him go 6 for 6 at one point in the pregame, Jeremy.
Yeah, he can shoot it. We'll see how much he gets to that early in the season. Last year, struggled initially to shoot the 3 effectively, and so that wasn't really an option for him. It is an option this year. There's only 2 dudes that don't have the green light per se. Braden Shaw and Luke Worthington.
Foul called on TJ Haas, who was asking for an explanation. There's that competitive nature once again. Jashir Hardnett going to the free throw line when we come back. Your day-to-day play-by-play for news and information regarding BYU sports can be found in one convenient place. BYU Sports Nation, weekdays noon Eastern, 10 a.m. Mountain on BYUtv, nationally simulcast on Sirius XM channel 143. We're also on demand anytime, BYUSN.com. Check us out on iTunes as well. Yoli Childs, well, doing what we thought he would do, Jerem. But now everybody gets to see it in the Cougar tip-off. Alley-oop heaven for number 23.
3 alley-oops, 13 points in 11 minutes. Oddly, no rebounds, which is a little weird, but Yoli Childs has been a force. BYU's been able to get into the lane and either get a layup or a dunk to Yoli Childs for the most part. The blue team up here by 13.
And the blue team shooting 14 for 20 as a squad. That's good for 70%. 4 of 8 from the three-point line. Hardnett at the free throw line right now. Drops in the first and give him both free throws. Jashir Hardnett with 6 points to pull the white team back within 11. Eli Bryant. Dastrup. Bryant will get the ball back on the right wing and go right back to Yoli Childs working on Luke Worthington. John Brown digging down defensively. Bryant finds TJ Haws on the skip pass open for 3. Great vision by Eli Bryant. TJ Haws, who was quiet until about 3 minutes ago of game time, now has 8 points.
I love that possession. Patient, swung it, got the defense off balance. TJ Haws with the 3.
Another offensive foul on BYU. The white team, that's Luke Worthington. He's got 2 fouls. Dalton Nixon is in foul trouble, Jerem. I'm not sure how much that really matters at this point because of the nature of this game, but he does have 4 fouls already.
I think the record was Brandon Davies had 10 in this. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, that's not a joke. I actually think I remember that. Celius bounces to Dastrup. Skip pass to Bryant, now to Emery. Guarded by Brown on the right wing. Flip back over to Dastrup straight away. Tough pass, easy steal by Worthington. controlled by Nixon, now hands over to Hardnett. We haven't seen very many blatantly errant passes. That was certainly one of them. Hardnett's floater, no good. Nick Emery out ahead of everybody. Soars in for the left-handed layup. 40 points on the board for the BYU blue team.
In the rare fast break, BYU's still going to run, but they're not going to run as much.
Bergerson, quick trigger on the three. That's no good. Yoli Childs with his first rebound. And he'll dribble the ball up, go over to Celius.
That was a new look too, Spencer, that Yoli didn't pass it off. He just brought it up himself. He'll do that sometimes this year.
Childs. Now to Bryant. Hardnett bodying up. Dastrup takes a nice pass from Bryant inside. Good touch right there from Eli Bryant, and Dastrup has his first two.
The near passer becomes the screener and rolls. We've seen a lot of that tonight from BYU with great success.
42-24, final minute of play in the first half. Bergerson, he'll opt to answer with the floater. That's short off the front of the rim. Rebound collected by Celius. As Emery to his left will go to Nick Emery. Now Childs, three-point line. Back to Emery, who drives baseline left. Skip pass to Eli Bryant. Feet set for three. That's in and out, and the rebound to Bergerson. 25 seconds to play in the opening 20 minutes. Bergerson bounces to Nixon. Nixon driving hard to the hole. Offensive foul. Dalton Nixon with his fifth foul.
So he's gone, right?
He's done.
Wrong. Another look at the charge. Dalton Nixon aggressive. Gets Yoli Childs off balance. Payne Dastrup, nice patience to draw the foul there outside the charge circle and draw the non-disqualification for Dalton Nixon. Son of Kevin.
Eli Bryant checks out. So the final 20 seconds for the blue team. As Haas, Childs, Celius, Dastrup, and Emery on the floor. Blue team has extended the lead to 18 on an 11-5 run. Dastrup with 7, now to Emery. 5, top of the key, pull-up three-pointer. That's good. Nick Emery had his foot on the line, so it will count as 2. McKay Cannon from half court. And it's waved off, wouldn't have counted. 45-24 blue team over the white side. The blue team largely made up of returning players with experience for BYU. The white team largely newcomers, and that experience on the blue side showing out in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, 9-0 run the last 2:44, and White, yeah, scoreless during that time, of course. Impressive to get 44 points as they make it 44 with the two-pointer there. BYU scored 44 points with a running clock. They would have scored 60+ in the first half had they stopped it regularly.
You do that when you shoot 72% as a team, 18 of 25.
15% from three. A nice first half for the returners and likely starters on the blue side.
Dave Rose certainly has to be pleased with some things he saw there in the first half.
He doesn't look pleased in that photo, though.
Well, he's an intense guy, and that's why part of why he has 305 wins. Demands a lot from his players, and as usual has high expectations for his squad once again. In fact, we spoke with Dave Rose in Studio B yesterday during BYU Sports Nation to talk about a very unique opportunity that the Cougars have in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for an exhibition to raise money for relief in the Hurricane Harvey efforts in Houston. Dave Rose is in Studio B with us now, the head coach back on BYU Sports Nation.
It's been a long time. What was it, last Thursday? Three shows ago?
This is good. You know, I've actually I've seen you guys all over town in the grocery stores, on the Utah Valley magazine, you know, on the cover. I mean, you guys are like real dudes. I actually brought something too here for you.
Uh-oh.
Remember how we talked about the picture?
Yeah.
So I got a look from you like maybe I didn't have it. You know, like maybe I was telling the story. So I'm gonna put this right here, okay, and we'll just make sure that we've got this as we talk today.
We're not featured enough in the studio.
You dusted it off and brought it in, Coach.
Hold on.
But when I said it was in the top left-hand corner of the drawer, I knew it was there, and he looked at me like, I don't think so.
We're building trust towards the BYU Basketball Dave Rose Show.
Right,
November 28th.
To maybe someday Instagram trust.
I didn't. Hey, thank you. I didn't even bring it up.
Yeah.
I was going to avoid it, but
All right, well, there
went
you go.
Yeah.
So you have to watch the show like consistently to be able to know what we're talking about. But if
Yes.
you
Oh,
saw
we got
that,
the diehards. They know.
Okay.
Yes.
I know. The blue goggled fans.
They're in on it. Coach, very exciting time. Obviously, the Cougar tip-off tomorrow, but then kind of late in the game, an exhibition with New Mexico gets set up in the pit, and all the proceeds go to help the hurricane situation in Houston. Really cool. When did this start?
Well, I think that it started for me actually watching on TV, in August when, Houston was just getting hammered, as much rain as probably they've ever seen. And there's areas that they're showing on TV of where I grew up and spent time as a high school kid and just flooded 8, 10, 12 feet underwater. My sister and my brother still live there, and so we're texting back and forth, trying to see what their situation is. I've got teammates from Houston that live there, and the two managers of our team that year, the head manager and assistant manager, are the guys that kind of keep the group together and all of our emails and things. And our head manager actually was the only guy that was affected as far as water getting in their home. But I mean, I wanted to do something then, and we're so far away, and I thought it would be cool to take my team down there and actually help. We looked into it through some of the church agencies and how it was going. It was just too hard to actually put together. So when the NCAA came up with this event, this idea that we could play another exhibition game, that was my initial thought, is this is a way that we can help the people that have been affected. And so the actual charity is the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund, set up by the mayor and a judge down there. And I watched the mayor, during that time, and he's trying to, put together all these different shelters where everyone's going to, and we feel really good. Both Coach Weir and I feel really good about where the money's going to go. And now, we get to play a game, but we also get to help a lot of people. So it's a kind of a win-win situation for us.
This is an awesome situation. Tell us a little bit more about the fund and kind of, so if people go to the game, hopefully there's some kind of stream that people can watch. We'll see. But if people go to the game, what happens with it?
Well, I think they've got a big plan of actually raising money at the event, let alone the proceeds. Hopefully we can sell it out. 17,000 people at $10 a pop is a pretty good start. And then there'll be events and different things at the arena to try to help raise money. Cougar fans can actually go
This is an awesome situation. Tell us a little bit more about the fund and kind of, so if people go to the game, hopefully there's some kind of stream that people can watch. We'll see. But if people go to the game, what happens with it?
Well, I think they've got a big plan of actually raising money at the event, let alone the proceeds. Hopefully we can sell it out. 17,000 people at $10 a pop is a pretty good start. And then there'll be events and different things at the arena to try to help raise money. Cougar fans can actually go online and donate to the. And I think we've got a graphic here we'll show eventually, but it's just something I really believe that, the media comes into these hurricanes and they show them and everybody says, oh my goodness, look how tough this is, and then they leave, but those people are still there with water in their home and furniture out in the front yard. And my brother has shown me a few pictures of just what the streets look like. Everybody's got their furniture and wall boards and everything's cut right down to the level of the water that got in their homes. And I mean, talking like somewhere like close to 200,000 homes were, flooded. And it's a lot of people with a lot of problems, and hopefully we can give them a little bit of help. And not only us, but a lot of other college basketball teams. I think there might end up being 50, 75, 100 of these exhibition charity games to help different relief funds in Puerto Rico and Florida, and the disasters in Northern California.
Fantastic.
The shootings in Las Vegas. I actually talked to the guys in Vegas before we put this game together about maybe us playing and trying to help that situation. So it's a good thing for college basketball to be able to help, and hopefully it's something that we might be able to continue to do, because it's been really successful. The Missouri-Kansas game the other night raised $1,750,000 something.
Wow!
1.7
Fantastic.
Wow!
Fantastic.
So that's obviously money that will be well spent.
Dave Rose, the head basketball coach at BYU, with us, previewing BYU New Mexico, a game that is set up for charity to help those affected by Hurricane Harvey in Houston. You can donate online at ghcf.org/hurricane-relief. Again, we'll put that graphic up on the screen as we are talking with Coach Rose today. Coach, what can you benefit, or how can you benefit from a game like this in terms of the basketball that's on the floor in the pit against a really good opponent, an old rival?
Well, I think that the most important thing for us, when we realized that it was an opportunity for us, that we wanted to go on the road and play, because we have 2 exhibitions here at home. And so we actually, Coach Lacombe and I got on the phone and called quite a few people. I was actually surprised, a couple guys that didn't want to play, that I thought, it's at their place. I thought it would be something.
So you were like, we're going to go out on the road.
That's what's going to happen. And Coach Lacombe actually was, we picked about 8 or 9 schools, and he had New Mexico. And when he came back to me about an hour later and said, hey, these guys are really interested, I said, okay, let's go. Let's focus on this. I said, there's a couple things that really intrigued me about this. Number one is it's an unbelievable home court advantage for them. Their fans are terrific. We played there for years, and took really good teams in there, and got beat. Took really, average teams in there and won. I mean, it's an amazing feel when you get in there. But so that would be really good for our group, to get them in front of, fans and play on the road with that experience, and then have us try to execute and do all the things that you need to do to try to win a game. But the other thing I think that is really important for us is that, we get a chance to go out, be together. We really have like 3 groups of guys on this team. We got a returning guys from last year with about 5 of those guys. We got 3 brand new guys, 2 junior college guys, and then Ryland, the freshman from high school. And then we've got these 3 return missionaries that played on teams with us before. And so I thought it would be good early to bring that group together, travel, get started, and face a team that is got a lot of excitement about them with a new coaching change, and plus we played the national championship game there in 1983 when I was with Houston, and I just felt that it all kind of felt right, and so we pursued it and actually got it done.
Great stuff, Coach.
Awesome.
Bravo to you and everyone that's gone in to set up this thing. Very cool.
We're excited. I think the next 3 days will play out too. Hopefully it'll sell out, and then from there we can maybe take it to another level to see what we can do. But I know that they're working really hard, and I'm looking forward to getting down there and playing the game.
Cougar Tipoff tomorrow night as well, streaming live on BYUtv.
Yeah, the tip-off tomorrow will be a little bit interesting. We're still trying. We just had a staff meeting this morning, trying to figure out exactly how we're going to put the teams together. We change that around almost every year, and this year, we got Ryan Andrus that's out, and so we're guys short. Probably try to put 2 7-member teams together and play this thing and make it as competitive as we possibly can.
Do you need Spencer to play?
Throw me in, Coach.
Yeah, well, I got his picture. I think that might be good enough.
He's a defensive stopper.
Yes, shoot the 3, play the D. Let's go. Just for your record keeping, we are how many days away to an actual BYU basketball game?
Hit it!
Countdown to the Dalton Devils.
18 days.
18 days. We count down to the regular season.
Counting
so
down to the
we're
Delta
stoked.
Devils.
The Delta Devils, home of Jerry Rice.
Oh
So,
my,
yeah.
that's a lot like Laverne and Shirley. You know? The 18 days.
BYU's 1-7. We got to count down. Yeah.
It's all
Well, hey,
good.
they'll get a win this week.
Yes, they will.
The guys are.
Yes, they will.
They need to be rewarded for all their work, and it's amazing they can get a turn and get a win. The momentum that can carry for the rest of the year. That's all they need to do. So
Confidence is a
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
2 basketball games and a football game this week and a top 20 volleyball match.
It's a good week. It's a good week. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me.
Dave Rose, the head basketball coach, with us in Studio B as part of BYU Sports Nation. Technically speaking, it's 17 days now, Jerem,
Oh, yeah, baby.
from the showdown against the Delta Devils. Stats and highlights from the first half of the Cougar Tip-Off on the way next. Back in the second half of the Cougar tip-off, the blue team leading the white side 44-24 after shooting 72% as a team, 18 of 25.
That'll do.
5 of 10 from the three-point line. Only 1 turnover, Jerem, for
Well
that
then.
BYU blue team.
Well, then, took care of the ball, took good shots, obviously, 72%, a lot of dunks. The only child, 13 points on 6 of 8, but the guy that really stuck out to me was Eli Bryant. 12 points, 5 assists, 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from distance, made good decisions, a couple Euro steps into the lane, sat in the corner, knocked down some shots. Hurt his knee at the end of last year. He looked good in the Cougar tip-off first half, and he's feeling good enough to dance before the game and here at halftime. So here we go. And we were told at the break, Spencer, that the second half, there won't be a running clock. They're going to regulate the clock like normal stoppages. So this will be a little longer, a little more normal.
And the teams remain the same. They have kept those intact. So the blue team, the same 7, leading by 20 here in the second half. Elijah Bryant to the hoop around Rylan Bergerson. Deflected off of a blue team player and out for the white side, so the white team gets a defensive stop to open up the second half of play.
We saw everybody play but Evan Troy, who was on the practice squad last year, upgraded to the roster, the 15-man roster.
Bergerson working on TJ Haas, nowhere to go down left. So out to Dalton Nixon, swung the hard net straight away, 15 on the shot clock for the white team with their first possession of the second half. Step back three-pointer, hard net, rainbow. That went halfway down and then back out. And the rebound to the blue team looking to push. Eli Bryant from the wing to TJ Haws, right corner, fakes the shot, swings it back out to Nick Emery, right back to Bryant. And a handoff to Haas, off the high screen from Dastrup. Has Bryant looking into Dastrup. Dastrup, ball poked away by Dalton Nixon, picked up by Kajon Brown, and a turnover, only the second of the game by the blue team. Luke Worthington cut off baseline, goes out to Dalton Nixon for three. That's back rim, no good. Rebounded by TJ Haws. Haws, short pass to Childs, handoff to Bryant. Bryant and Childs continue the two-man game. Now Peyton Dastrup flashing just shy of the three-point line. That shot's in and out, rebounded by Brown.
Toughest shot in basketball is the long two.
Brown cut off by Dastrup. Swings to Nixon. Good seal by Luke Worthington with the rotating defense not in time, and Worthington has an easy two.
Luke had a great start to the first half for a couple buckets there. Now gets 6 points in all. And Elijah Bryant comfortable in the corner.
That's set up by a backdoor cut by Nick Emery, taking the feed from TJ Haws. Flipped it over to Bryant in the corner in his comfort spot from the three-point line, and knocks down another trifecta. And look at this, Nixon to Worthington once again. That high-low working out nicely for the white team in response. It's 47-28.
Nice seal for Luke Worthington. Would you have expected that kind of play and 8 points from Luke Worthington before his mission? He's worked hard in the offseason, the last 5 months, to put himself in a position to play.
Dastrup will fire up a three. That hits nothing. But it will remain with the blue team as it goes off of Worthington. Nick Emery, you see that subtle flip into the corner. Got such good court vision, does Nick Emery, to find Bryant, who now leads all scorers with 15 points.
He didn't have to do the jump pass, which is asking for trouble. Another corner three from BYU, in and out.
And the white team fortunate that Haas missed that wide open three from the corner.
But these are good looks. These are good patient looks within the offense. With a little clock used. This is a different look, as I mentioned. Starting this year as Zach Sellius gets his hands in on it. Dalton Nixon turns it over.
Sellius digging down to help that double team effort, and it results in a white turnover. Score remains in favor of the blue team by 19, 47-28, 17 minutes to play. Elijah Bryant. And that is one of the two misses that Bryant has on the night. Childs collects the offensive rebound. Tough fadeaway jumper, and that's good. Now, as hard as that looks, that is right in his comfort zone. He loves to go fading away from about that 8 to 10 foot area.
And that was the Yoli Childs' possession. He got the offensive rebound, took his time, space cleared out, nice fadeaway, about 8 feet.
21-point advantage for the blue team. Brown cycles to Hardnett. Bergerson back to Worthington, little three-man weave to the right wing, and Hardnett so explosive to the hoop and has such great vision, but Worthington can't finish the layup. Nick Emery looking to answer back in a hurry. Lobs it up for Childs, and that one just is short off the front of the rim.
Because he jumped from 10 feet away.
Hardnett somehow gets through a couple of big bodies in the post. Yoli Childs pleading his case, wanting an explanation for why that was a foul called on him. Emery also there defending, and Hardnett will shoot 2 free throws.
Hardnett's one of those butter guys. You're like, how did he escape from that group? Slips through, able to find space, get to the rim. And we've seen a schematic change for BYU offensively tonight. On the perimeter, we're seeing 4 guys. 4 out, 1 in. A lot of screens, not where a post runs up from the block to the top of the key, but he's already there. He's maybe passed off. It becomes a screen and roll suddenly. That guy is going to the basket quickly. This is creating a lot of different mismatches and opportunities for BYU offensively.
2 free throws from Hardnett cut into that blue team lead, back to 19, 49-30. We hit the 16-minute mark here in the second half of play of the Cougar tip-off, and that ball is off of Emery with McKay Cannon and Braden Shaw defending on the perimeter.
Emery's frustrated. A couple of turnovers, not too many for this blue squad, only 3 on the night, but Emery trying to get it going. 3 for 5 tonight, 6 points. Now watch this, handoff instantly. The screen and roll, you can hand off or not, and Dalton Nixon takes it to the rim. Easy offense.
Dalton Nixon right at Zach Sellius, and that's advantage Nixon in that matchup right there, showing why. The quick two. Child setting the screen on Cannon for Emery. Double team again as Shaw goes over to help out. Now isolated is Emery on Cannon. Brown with a good rotation defensively, knocks it away from Childs, picked up by Bryant. And Cannon defended the Euro step, and Eli still scored it.
Yeah, went to his right instead of strong to his left. So nice job in the air of recognizing that. Bryant's very strong in the upper body.
51-32. Eli Bryant with 17 points to lead everyone. Steal by Yoli Childs, goes to Bryant.
BYU last year would have shot a 3 by now. Instead, patient offense. Yoli Childs
showing the range right there. That's a long 2. And Childs now has 15 points. Correction, 17 points to tie up Eli Bryant for the game's high score. Dejon Brown bounces to Nixon. Good, quick baseline move. Nixon gonna have a 3-point play opportunity as he gets around Sellius. And you love that quick move. We'll take a look at that, but first a pick and roll from Nixon, just going right at Zach Sellius.
Yeah, it ends up being the fake pick and roll because it's handed off to Nixon. No handoff on the motion and goes right to the rim. So their options off of that are pretty easy, but generally BYU's run this. A post player or a 4 or 5 will hand the ball to a guard. And Nixon said, I made the basket. That was the one shot. He's the only one that knew that. Nixon looked at one of the refs.
He knows that was a 3-point play.
Now I'm done. I'm going back.
I made that.
He's the only one in the building that knew that.
53-35, 3-point play completed by Dalton Nixon.
So watch this.
Who has 12 points. And here is the first look at Evan Troy.
So options off of this, right? Yoli Childs, instead of handing off to someone, Evan Troy just cut to the bucket and he got open. That's one of the most basic plays. The most basic play would be, I just take it to the rim. Another would be, you cut to the bucket, I'll pass it to you. Or you come and screen my guy and we go off that. Simple stuff on offense, BYU's being patient. They're taking good shots. I haven't seen too many 4 shots, maybe an Emery or Haas shot in the first half from 3. But good patient looks. It's either at the rim or it's a 3. And those are the shots that you want. John Calipari wrote a book a few years ago and he said, there's only 2 kinds of shots I want my team to take. Layups or open threes. Yes. Why would we take long 2s ever? We've seen a lot of that today.
Evan Troy into the game, and quickly into the scoring column, makes both free throws. Blue team advantage once again at 20. Okay, Cannon, hard off the screen over to Hardnett. Hardnett driving to his right, and Jashir Hardnett. Such a tough guard, scores the reverse layup with the left hand. He doesn't take bad shots. And that is one of the major reasons BYU wanted him on their team. Evan Troy from Nick Emery on the skip pass. Good look from Emery. No good on the 3-point connection, and Hardnett fakes the long 2, goes to Nixon. McKay Cannon gets his feet set for the 3. That's short, falls into the lap of Peyton Dashwick, deflects off of Braden Sean out to the blue team.
Watch Hardnett, fake to left, go by Emery. Dashwick did not cut him off. That was the problem with the help there. And then Evan Troy was thinking maybe that pass is going to go to a wide open Rylan Bergerson in the corner. Instead, Hardnett lays it in. Again, slippery in his ability to shake, wiggle a little bit, and get to the rim.
We've seen all 14 players suited up tonight for the Cougar tip-off. The only player not seeing action tonight, Ryan Andrews, who's coming off of a surgery, and a return missionary from American Fork High School. TJ Haws off the high screen, long 3, back rim, no good. Worthington skies for the rebound, outlet to Cannon. Now Hardnett right at Haws, and a foul is whistled as Hardnett draws the contact on the way to the hoop.
And that's a strong move there. Hardnett's strong, a strong player in his ability to get to the rim, but also absorb that contact. So he draws the foul there. TJ Haws on his hip. And all you need is a couple inches to get around the corner and get open there. And these guys have been going at it in practice. This is kind of the end of the line in terms of the preseason prep. Now you get to play other teams starting Friday at New Mexico, Westminster in the mix, another exhibition as well. So this is kind of, they know, you know our plays, and we know yours. We're going to get out here. We're going to get in front of the lights, out in the lights in the Marriott Center. So these guys are anxious to play somebody else, as Dave Rose told us yesterday.
Hardnett, very good free throw shooter, and the white team overall, 11 for 11 from the charity stripe. Blue team answering with 5 for 8. TJ Haws, tough shot off the glass.
And what happened there is that Luke Worthington chose to defend Yoli Childs. Otherwise, that's an alley-oop. Instead, it's a TJ Haws layup.
Backdoor cut by Bergerson. Childs there to defend. Alters the shot.
Childs grimaced on that.
He's kind of moving his jaw down. You wonder if he got hit with an elbow in the jaw or something.
Sellius is going to come in for him, I would imagine.
Dave Rose up quickly to ask Yoli Childs if he's okay, and he shakes his head in the affirmative. Nick Emery will check out as well for the blue team.
If he banged knees or twisted the ankle.
TJ Haws left open for 3, and Childs, for the record, headed to the locker room really quickly to get checked out for whatever happened.
And that is the #1 thing you don't want to happen in this for anyone to get hurt. It's the beginning of the season. Childs didn't look like anything extreme. Popped right back up, went out, but immediately grimaced. So something happened there. And hopefully he's okay.
60-39, the blue team leading the white side with 12:26 to play here in the final half of the Cougar tip-off. Bashir Hardnett and the inbounds plays continue to work very well for the white team. Exposed that blue defense a couple of times with inbound plays, and back to a 19-point game. Haws flips it over to Eli Bryant on the left side, cycles to Zach Sellius straight away. Sellius looking for Haws, who just knocked down a 3 from long range. Back to Sellius once again.
Sellius has to at least look at that for 3 right there. He was in a good spot to at least turn and shoot. Being very patient, taking his time on that. And by the way, Luke Worthington tied for a team high with 12 points.
Offensive foul whistle on Peyton Dastrup, who didn't have his feet set on that screen for Eli Bryant. And we're looking back at
his right ankle turned a little bit. That's what I saw there.
We'll figure out the latest with Yoli Childs and take a break with 11:53 to play. Under 12 timeout. Blue team up by 19, 60-41. Stay with us. Back at the Cougar tip-off, a reminder that BYU basketball with Dave Rose tips off on Tuesday, November 28th. The first episode airing at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time, live from Studio C at BYU Broadcasting. Of course, you can watch it live on BYUtv and stream it on BYUtv.org. Coach Rose, after 12 seasons, 305 wins on his resume. Incredible performance thus far as the head coach at BYU, and looking for a lot more. Sellius open for 3. That's front rim left, no good. Rebound and a foul whistled during that rebounding effort. Yoli Childs is back out on the blue sideline on the bike. We're still waiting for confirmation. Did you get that, Jeremy?
Yeah, during that timeout, he ran back out of the tunnel and then jogged over to the sideline, said something to Heath Troyer, and then went to the bike. So it doesn't look to be serious if he came back out.
Traveling called on Peyton Dastrup. Turnover back to the white team with 11:30 to play. The white team going to need a significant push here to make this interesting in the end.
The only issue with this intra-squad scrimmage is we don't see all the combinations that we'll actually see later. We won't see Jashir Hardnett with Nick Emery and TJ Haws, and what that would look like and feel like as Yoli Childs comes back into the game, and that's the best news that could have happened tonight for BYU.
Nick Emery also back in, replacing TJ Haws and Evan Troy respectively. Foul away from the ball handler, and the inbound pass from Hardnett to Nixon, who is having a very solid night. Dalton Nixon with 14 points on 6 of 8 shooting, a couple of rebounds and a couple assists as well.
He's been really aggressive in the preseason as Luke Worthington was called for a foul away from the ball. That was my #1 takeaway for Dalton. He looks aggressive. He looks on attack. In fact, he dunked on somebody hard in practice one day and just was playing angry. And that's what he needs to do to have an impact on this team, is find a role that suits him. And if you can be an energy guy off the bench, there's always a need for that guy.
Another offensive foul whistled against the BYU blue team. Peyton Dastrup, the guilty party, and he's looking for an explanation. Dave Rose wants to know why that was a foul.
Is there anything?
Turnover.
Is there anything other than poor shooting and turnovers and whatnot that would make Dave Rose angry tonight? It's all good.
Well, the injuries
or 40
of concern,
40 fouls away from the ball in the second half. That'd make me angry, maybe.
Well, he asked for this specifically. They want the officials to be very, very uptight with how they call this game. And let's be honest, the way that the games have been officiated in the West Coast Conference, this is very similar. This is what college basketball in a lot of ways has become.
So maybe he's reminding Heath Troyer, hey, by the way, this is what the tempo might be like. They don't get paid by the hour, so it's all good.
First free throw miss.
I'm not talking about
by the BYU white team as a collective group, now 11 of 12. Childs, entry pass to Celius, and that skips away from Childs, looking to go back to him. Dalton Nixon flips that over to Jashir Hardnett, somehow got to him. Step back jumper, free throw line area, back rim no good. Loose ball foul, and they're going to get Kajon Brown with an over the back call.
So we're up to 30 fouls total.
Technically,
I'm going to set the over-under at 42.5.
Technically, there's not an over the back call in basketball. So we'll just call that a body foul of Kajon Brown. Yet that's in the basketball vernacular, right?
Yeah, like tie goes to the runner. There's no such thing as a tie. Someone got there for the ball or the runner.
Nick Emery thought about a long three for a moment, guarded by Dalton Nixon. Opts to go to Eli Bryant. Now to Zach Celius, right baseline, turning towards the lane. And a foul called on Ryland Bergerson. The question now is, was it a shooting foul or before the shot went up?
That's an interesting wrinkle. A three-point specialist who is 6'7", so Kyle Korver-like in that he is tall and can make it rain from deep, posting up. It's an interesting look.
Ruled a foul before the shot went up, so TJ Haws inbounds to Eli Bryant, 30 feet away. Now dribbles to the left side. It's Childs straight away, cycled to Haws back in the right corner, blocked by Bergerson, falls into the hands of Celius. Fortunately for the blue team, he scores the reverse layup with his right hand.
There you go, using that height underneath. He won't just sit on the three-point line and shoot, he can do it in the paint as well.
Dalton Nixon hands off to Kajon Brown, and he banks that in from the free throw line. Brown with 4 points now.
Yeah, he didn't even take a shot in the first half, so a little more aggressive here in the second.
Bryant around Cannon to Haas, hesitation move, and they're going to get Brown with the body on TJ Haws driving to the hoop. 62-45, blue team over the white side with 9:33 stopped on the clock. Saturday afternoon, it is all-day football on BYU TV. Kalani Sitake and the BYU Cougars back in Provo, looking for their second win of the season. Incredibly, at 1-7 right now. To get you ready for that matchup between the Cougars and the Spartans, watch Countdown to Kickoff, 2 Eastern, noon Mountain Time on BYU TV. Off the turnover, Brown to McKay Cannon. Nowhere to go inside, so he flips it back out the hard net, handed off to Brown once again. Guarded by Haas, has Shaw right next to him. Now Hardnett with 4 on the shot clock. That is partially blocked. Eli Bryant controlling now. Strong pass over to Haws, who goes up and under the rim for the reverse layup.
Not too many fast breaks tonight, but nice vision by Elijah Bryant. Find TJ Haws, crosses over the paint, goes up with the right hand and in.
Haws cuts off Brown, trying to go between those defenders in limited space. Good effort by Shaw to save that ball. Nixon has Cannon now. Hardnet, entry pass to Dalton Nixon. Left-handed jump hook over the block attempt of Yoli Childs. Dalton Nixon now with 16 points to lead all the scorers on the white squad.
I did not think we'd see Dalton Nixon and Zach Sellius posting up tonight and making baskets. That is a fun new ring.
5 players in double figures between the two teams. Yoli Childs showing off his athleticism with the spin and win in the lane.
19 points on 9 of 12 for Yoli Childs. Only 3 misses, 3 alley-oops tonight. Official.
Brown, and a timeout will be called by the BYU white squad. We'll keep it here at 66-47, 8:06 to play here in the second half.
Another look at the vision of Elijah Bryant to find TJ and flying into the lane. What did you call him? The Ginger Mamba? Look at this.
Yes.
Woo! Like Jordan in '92 against the Lakers. Okay, not quite, but you get my drift. That was a weird tired timeout, by the way, by the White. There's only 2 guys on the bench. So you just get a little winded. You need a timeout. Yet they're standing up. I would sit down. If I was Quincy Lewis, hey, guys, have a seat. You look winded, okay? They're playing at elevation. No, I'm just kidding.
Quincy
if
Lewis,
BYU, you don't bring up the elevation or a mission, right?
Quincy Lewis, Tim Lacombe, and Lee Camard, the coaches for the white team tonight.
A little bit of experience there.
Here's a look at the experienced shooters from beyond the arc for BYU. Zach Sellius shot 50% his freshman season from the three-point line. TJ Haws at 40%. He had 6 threes in the game. Sellius had 7. Eli Bryant had a career high of 39 against Portland. He made 7 threes, and then Nick Emery went off for 10 three-pointers, which tied a BYU record set by Chase Fisher.
Look at the top line, career high. So any of these guys, where's their ceiling? It's in the mid to high 20s or close to 40. So 25 for Sellius, career high. Haws 29, Bryant 39, Emery 37. All capable three-point shooters. Elijah Bryant last year struggled from the three-point line because he started 1 for 16. He was 6% better after that on the season. He'll be even better than that, in my opinion, this year. And like you said, most three-pointers in a game. 7, 6, 6, 8, 9,
10 for Emery.
Three-point shooters. I mean, BYU's got the ability to shoot the 3 from the outside. Yoli Childs is a dynamic look underneath. You have guys posting up. Luke Worthington and Braden Shaw can rebound underneath. So lots of diversity on this team and skill level.
Rylan Bergerson with 12 on the shot clock, under 8 to play. Braden Shaw cut off by Childs. Now 6 on the shot clock. Hardnet bounces back to Shaw, to Nixon. Tough shot, Dalton Nixon. And some nice patience from the white team. Nixon scores 2 more. He's got 18, and that got a serious fist pump from Tim Lacombe on the bench.
They drew that up, but it didn't work as originally intended. Braden Shaw, nicely done. The jump pass underneath. Nixon turns, uses his shoulder in the angle to lay it up and in. And what a night for Dalton Nixon. 18 points, 8 of 10 shooting.
Make it 19 now after the free throw make.
Tied for a game high.
And it's a 16-point game. White team trying to inch closer here in the final 7 minutes and change of the Cougar tip-off. Childs left open for 3. Back rim no good. Rebound Hardnet. Jashir Hartnett now with 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 12 points. Goes to Bergerson for 3. Open, no good. Child skies for the rebound. And Yoli has 5 rebounds to go along with his 19 points.
Had the 1 in the first half.
Emery, left junction pull-up. That's back rim, no good. Rebounded by Shaw. Quick handoff to Hartnett. Hartnett right at TJ Haws. Foul called. And will they give him the continuation?
They should.
So a discussion happening between the officials near the paint area. Hartnett waiting and hoping that that is an and one opportunity. They wave off the shot.
Disagree with that call. I thought he did a nice job of drawing the contact. And just because he's slow in executing the shot, there's the whistle. He's still going up. I think just because it's slow doesn't mean it shouldn't be rewarded.
Bonus opportunity for Hartnett, who has not missed a free throw. 7 for 7 now after that make. He's got 13 points.
And the white team's been really good from this one.
And makes both. 14 of 15 as a squad. The blue team has only attempted 8 free throws, 5 of 8, but they have shot 57% from the floor. Zach Sellius fakes the 3, goes inside to Childs with Worthington on his back. Yoli Childs spinning around his right shoulder. No good. Offensive rebound by Sellius. Childs somehow collects that ball midair after he lost it and scores it off the glass.
Nicely done. Slippery ball going to the rim, but able to lay it in. Zach Sellius being very unselfish tonight. He has had a lot of opportunities to shoot that he's passed up.
Bergerson bailed out by Worthington, who rips that ball back in possession for the white team. Hartnett. Crossover on Troy. Help from Childs. Worthington turning, left open for the moment. Hook shot won't go. Offensive rebound, Braden Shaw. Put back, rolls around and down.
There's some tough points on the inside there with Yoli Childs. Athletic ability nicely done by Luke Worthington to get the O board. Braden Shaw finishes it up.
Evan Troy right into the lane and right at Shaw. Defended nicely. Rebound Bergerson. White team a chance to cut this lead to 12, maybe 11 with under 6 to play. Hartnett picked up his dribble off the screen, looking for some help. Gets it from Bergerson on the right wing. Bergerson entry pass to Worthington. Blocked up with Childs, has the ball slapped away. Out to Bergerson, long 3 straight away. That's missed right side, and the 6th rebound for Yoli Childs.
Bergerson does not lack in confidence. Capable 3-point shooter. Haven't seen it as much tonight. 1 for 4 from deep.
Childs going to be called for a traveling violation. 1 too many steps as he spun around to his right shoulder. Childs will check out of the game. Peyton Dastrup back in. Here's Childs losing the ball, collecting and scoring.
Long dribble, that's all that was. Yeah, the self-assist. Yeah, I'm just gonna bounce this to myself across the paint and go up and in.
Another timeout on the floor. We'll keep it here with 5:31 to play in the half. 68-54 blue team over the white side. The blue team led by as many as 21. Again, that's down to 14. One of the biggest questions, understandably, for this BYU basketball team going into the offseason was, what do you do about the loss of Eric Mika, who opted to leave BYU after his sophomore season and pursue a professional basketball career, was not drafted into the NBA, opted to play professionally in Italy, had a 20-19 game the other night for his team, by the way. But the question is, how do you find guys to replace him at BYU?
I think the rebounds can be replaced somewhat by Yoli Childs. I think BYU's got some capable guys on the inside there. The points will be made up. The post presence, not necessarily, although BYU's offense is very guard-centric. Outside the 3-point line, lots of motion, lots of patience. It's a different way, but the sum of the parts will make up for Eric Mika. He was a dynamic scorer, one of the best post players BYU's ever had here. So certainly, as you said, a question mark in how to fill that. But BYU's not running the same offense. They're not trying to replace 1 for 1. They're bringing in Zach Sellius, who will contribute in a different way. They have guys off of missions who will contribute in different ways. Peyton Dastrup's lost 40 pounds. He hopes to be a contributor. So it's going to be different guys doing different things than Eric Mika.
Brown from Hartnett, slashing to the hole. And the foul is called. It will go against Peyton Dastrup. And that is his 7th personal foul.
And these will carry over to the exhibition Friday. I'm just kidding. I like what I've seen from BYU here tonight. I said I was excited to see Heath Schroeder's influence. His influence is that BYU is being patient on offense, is taking quality shots, it's playing good defense. I like what I've seen so far for BYU. What does it mean? Does it mean BYU can compete for the top 2 spots in the league? Does it mean that they will make the NCAA tournament? I don't know. It's way too early for that. But so far, so good in things that matter. Valuing possession and playing good defense is championship ball.
TJ Haas patiently milking the shot clock, now down to 10, under 5 to play in the game. It's a 13-point advantage for the blue team after 1 for 2 from Tajon Brown. Peyton Dastrop's pass for Zach Sellius is errant.
Yeah, that's a tough pass. And it's a tough pass for a big man to make as well. Normally it's a guard making that pass, but the bigs have a lot of passing opportunity on the perimeter.
Brown dribbles straight away. The hard net, left side. Entry pass to Nixon is bobbled and back out to Hardnet now. Jashir Hardnet, right to the rim. Has Bergerson open for 3 in the corner. That's good. Rylan Bergerson with his second 3-point make. And it's a 10-point game with 4:25 to play.
Nice make by Bergerson, and then of course Hardnet finds space where there was none on the baseline, sliding around, finding the open man. 5 assists tonight for Hardnet.
Blue team has slowed the pace quite a bit here. Haws try and answer back for 3, and that's a nice make for the blue team. TJ Haws with 18 points.
Last year, that's a normal shot. That felt forced and rushed compared to what we've seen tonight. Interesting difference of pace.
Brown cut off by Dastrup. Back out to Hardnet. John Brown looking for the entry pass, finds it in Luke Worthington. Worthington spins with the right-handed hook, scores it over Peyton Dastrup. Luke Worthington pulls the white team back within 11 at 71-60.
Karma boost on the show last week, 14 points tonight. It's a question I have coming out of this game, Spencer.
Dastrup, free throw line, and Peyton Dastrup needed that one for his confidence.
That's a nice jumper. Just 2 points thus far for Dastrup, make it 4 now. Emery with 6. A little concerning in that you want Nick Emery more involved, but there's lots of options for BYU. So.
Bergerson, freshman from Boise, Idaho, and an offensive foul on Luke Worthington. I think that's the 7th offensive foul called on the screen we've seen this game. No joke. Emphasis there for sure. Final 3 minutes of the Cougar Tip-Off up next. Welcome back to Provo, Utah. Reminder that our next live broadcast happens on BYUtv Friday at 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain Time. A top 20 NCAA volleyball showdown on the women's side between couple of West Coast Conference rivals. The 18th ranked San Diego Toreros at 16-4 will visit 21-1 BYU, the 8th ranked team in the country. The ESPNW National Player of the Week, Ronnie Jones-Perry, had 34 kills in a comeback 5-set victory against LMU last weekend.
Copper Hill's finest, Spencer. Ronnie Jones-Perry, legit. He'll get an All-American level.
Eli Bryant back into the game. Haselius open for three. Scripted play and a desired finish for that blue team. Back-to-back three-point makes for the blue side. One from TJ Haas, the other from Zach Sellius.
Don't be shy, cuz. 5 shots on the night for Zach Sellius. Just his 4th three-point shot, 2 for 4. Nice left-handed make from Luke Worthington, who has 16 points to go with 6 rebounds and those 5 fouls.
Nick Emery fires up a long three, and the floodgates have opened up a little bit for the blue team. 9 points just like that in about a minute of game time.
That's a, I feel like I'm in single-digit scoring. I'm just going to take this.
79-62. Worthington, inside-out play to Brown. That one is missed hard right. Rebound to Sellius. Bryant crosses the timeline behind the back dribble. Looking for some help, has it in Sellius. Sellius will dribble out Haas and now go to TJ Haas. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Bryant guarded by Brown. 1:40 to play in the game. Blue team well in control, up 17. Nick Emery. Why not? That one nearly banks in.
Yeah.
That's a heat check for the blue team.
Yes, and it wasn't very hot.
Dalton Nixon on the break fires up a rainbow three, rebounded by Eli Bryant after the miss.
Without looking, who do you think's the leading rebounder?
I would guess Yoli Childs.
It is Zach Sellius. 8 rebounds.
8 rebounds.
Yeah, as Childs makes it.
Yoli Childs the leading scorer now with 23.
Well, Zach Sellius, if Zach Sellius can be a rebounder, he can start and play the 4th.
We will see this lineup on the floor a lot for BYU this year. The current 5 in blue jerseys right now.
I would say this is my likely game 1 starting lineup. As Bergerson hits another 3, make it 3 now tonight. 3 for 7.
The first thing we heard about Rylan Bergerson when he signed at BYU was he likes to shoot three-pointers and does not lack confidence in doing so.
Dad Roberto, 2nd-round pick to the Hawks. He's also in the Boise State Hall of Fame, so got the pedigree.
Eli Bryant with another three-point
Where was this
make.
earlier? The explosion of shots. A little more tempo to this as we get near the end. Bryant up to 20 points.
Final 27 seconds, turnover. Nick Emery has it. Look at the no-look bounce pass to Haas. Gorgeous play. I mean, threading the needle with the no-look touch bounce pass. And Haas goes in with the left hand.
4th assist from Emery.
Hardnett whips it over to Bergerson. You betcha. Rylan Bergerson feeling the mojo from downtown.
4 made 3s, not bad for the kid straight off that yellow bus. He did take a year of prep school and play in Branson, Missouri. Another look from Emery. The no look to the high school teammate from the high school that you know very well.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
And then the left-handed finish.
Ball movement
From Haas. BYU has a lot of guys who are really good finishing with either hand at the rim, which is impressive. And we haven't seen BYU push it as much. We haven't seen the fast break. We haven't seen the high tempo. Again, I've been saying it all night. This is a different look. And one thing that's interesting, there are not a lot of called offensive plays. It's within a system, and you adapt to the system.
Totally different change from last year.
Yes, yes.
Zach Sellius. 2 for 2 from the free throw line. 88-68. Final seconds. Jashir Hardnett in and out on the 3. Bergerson goes skying in, trying for the putback, and that is how the Cougar tip-off will end. Entertaining basketball from the 14 players that saw court time here at the Marriott Center tonight. Leading scorer, Yoli Childs with 23 points. In fact, 3 players on the blue team went 20 plus. Eli Bryant right at 20. Haws right at 20, and the aforementioned Childs with 23 on 11 for 16 shooting, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Dave Rose congratulating all of his players on a game well played.
And this was a good night. The blue did what the blue team needed to do. I thought we saw some things from the white that were good. Yoli Childs had a nice night for BYU. Strong start, those 3 alley-oops in the first half, and Jashir Hardnett.
Yeah, Hardnett, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Solid, but Yoli Childs is our MVP of the night. 11 for 16 shooting, 23, 6, and the 2 assists.
Top 10 player in the league this year, in my opinion. Yoli Childs will be an all-league player, and he's going to make the jump. He was a 9-9 guy. He could be a double average guy this year. And hugs all around for BYU. Friday, BYU at New Mexico, which is a nice test. New Mexico struggling, new head coach, but in the pit, raising money for Hurricane Harvey, which is awesome. All of the proceeds go to that. TBD on whether that's going to be broadcast at all. It may not be, we'll see. But that's a good test for BYU, and I thought this was a positive night. Yoli Childs, we thought might have turned his ankle. He looked to be okay, he came back in the game.
Stay healthy, put on a good show. Check and check for BYU basketball in the Cougar Tip-Off. The final score tonight, the BYU blue team 88, the white team 68. Don't forget Friday night West Coast Conference Volleyball Top 20 showdown between San Diego and BYU, coverage at 9 Eastern. For Jerem Jordan and every member of our crew, I'm Spencer Linton saying goodbye from Provo. It's another Cougar winner.